We're going to talk about the nature of the debtor-creditor relationship. A debtor-creditor relationship exists when the creditor loans money to the debtor with the assumption that the debtor is going to, or with the agreement that the debtor is going to pay that money back along with interest. There are suretyships and also guarantees. With a suretyship and a guarantee, the parties are answering personally for the debt of another party, which is the debtor, to the creditor. So with the surety or obligor agrees to answer for the debt or default of the debtor to the creditor. With the guarantee, the guarantor or obligor agrees to answer for the debt or default of the debtor to the creditor. There is a difference with a suretyship. The surety is equally liable, which means that the creditor does not have to sue the debtor first. The creditor can go after the surety without suing the debtor. With the guarantor, the creditor has to go after the debtor first, and if the debtor cannot pay, then the creditor can go after the guarantor for payment. All the general contract rules apply in general for suretyship and guarantee, including the statute of frauds. And remember with the statute of frauds that anytime a party answers for the debt of another party to the creditor personally, assuming there's no main purpose exception, that contract has to be in writing. So suretyships and guarantees have to be in writing to be enforceable. They fall within the statute of frauds. Sureties have rights to protect themselves from loss. If the surety pays the debt, the surety will be exonerated. If the debtor pays the debt, the surety will be exonerated from the responsibility of paying on that particular loan. If the surety does pay for the actual loan, the surety becomes the creditor of the debtor, which means then the surety stands in the shoes, or subrogation is what that is, stands in the shoes of the creditor and becomes the creditor of the debtor for paying the debt. The surety, if the surety is pay or does pay the debt, the surety will be indemnified by the debtor, which is reimbursed. And if there's more than one surety, they each have a pro rata share or have to contribute through contribution their pro rata share. Sureties have defenses to not paying on the debt. There can be ordinary contract defenses and some defenses that are unique to suretyship. But an example of a contract defense would be a result of a lack of statute of frauds, or the agreement not being in writing would be a defense. Defenses that will not release a surety could include fraud or misrepresentation by the debtor, bankruptcy or insolvency by the debtor, change in loan terms for compensated suretyships, lack of enforcement of the debt by the creditor, because remember that the creditor does not have to go after the debtor first. The surety is primarily liable, and also the creditor's failure to give notice of default. That's not necessary. The surety will still be responsible even if the creditor has not given notice of the debtor's default on the loan. Defenses that will release the surety: if the debtor actually performs, that will exonerate the surety. Release of any collateral: if the debtor is substituted, because remember the surety agreed on that particular debtor, not someone else. The refusal by the creditor to accept the debtor's payment, a change in loan terms for uncompensated sureties, and then the statute of frauds or statute of limitations will release a surety.